What up, y'all? It's your boy, the one and only A Switch, aka this is the first time. This is not the second time at all. I'm not recording again because I forgot to record. No way. AKA the serial stiller, AKA you gonna finish that. AKA the man who almost asked Sam Lake to get a picture, but I was too afraid. AKA the Komaki Tiger Dropper, AKA Nicolette Master. Bringing you yet another episode of Switches Sites, episode 175. Pretty eventful turn of events that transpired within the past couple weeks. We got Summer Games Fest, of course. Got a chance to go attend and participate in the festivities, if you will. What else? We had the PlayStation Showcase. So this is the start. This is the start of E3, at least what was formerly E3, which may kind of be now Summer Games Fest. But hey, it's great. I'm digging it. I'm enjoying it. I'm liking it. Yeah. You know what? Without further ado, let's stop the dilly-dallying and get right into it. First topic of discussion. Am I doing that right? Hold on. Yeah. I think that's right. I think that. I hope it's right. Wait a minute. Of course I did not put. Okay, well, gonna easily rectify this real quick. Hold on. Everything doesn't want to work. That's fine. Okay. My God. No. Please don't cut. Apologies. So, let's kick it off right. Of course, the event that just transpired earlier today, Summer Games Fest 2023. As I said, I was there in the live audience, getting to soak in all the fun activities and whatnot. It was great. Like I said earlier, I'm regretting it now. I should have got the opportunity to take a picture with Sam Lake, the infamous the developer on the team, but also the face of the one and only Max Payne, at least the first two games, even though they took some liberties with the third one. But he was right there too. I could have did it. I just didn't. It's always that weird thing with, famous people. You feel like you don't want to protrude or bother them. Like, he was talking to people. I didn't want to just shove in there like, hey Sam, can I get a pic? I mean, he probably would have, but I don't know. It was a prime opportunity, and I regret it. I'm regretting it very much. But I digress. Let's actually talk about what transpired at the Summer Games Fest. So, starting off, they started off. We'll do some skipping, of course. Some of the not as meaningful things to discuss. I won't, but let's talk about the nitty gritty stuff. In particular, they started off with a new Prince of Persia game. I forgot what was it called. Prince of Persia, something or something. Prince of Persia, so, the Booty Lands. That's exactly what. That's exactly what it was called. Prince of Persia, Booty Lands. I knew it all too well. No, Prince of Persia, The Lost Crown. I think this was a very much a surprise. Nobody had this on their radar at all, I don't think. So basically a brand new Prince of Persia game coming to PlayStation 5, PS4, Xbox Series S and X, Xbox One, to the Switch and PC, January 18th, 2024. It looks dope. The Prince of Persia is black now, I think. Yeah, that's only a black hairstyle, I'm just saying. So that's cool. I mean, it's immediately in my radar because of that alone. I'm curious. The biggest question I had was if this is because I heard the development for the Prince of Persia remake was very rocky, and there was a lot of issues going on. And I'm curious if this is replacing that potentially, but I guess we'll find out sooner or later. But this is dope that we got a fully fledged, legit Prince of Persia game. It looked interesting. I'm not sure if I would immediately get it. I will wait until reviews. I don't know. The camera is a little too far for my liking. I would like it to be a little bit more closer than it is. It's a little too zoomed out for me. And that's the same issue I have with isometric type games for the most part. There's some exceptions, but generally speaking, that's why I have problems playing the isometrics. Is that the lingo? Is that the jargon? Is that the slang? The slang for those types of games. But I digress. It was a delightful surprise for sure though. But the really good stuff definitely was Mortal Kombat 1. We finally got our world premiere reveal of actual gameplay of Mortal Kombat 1, which was fucking dope. It was so dope. Man, where do we even start? So it's like a story trailer. So basically the premise, which I think we all were fully aware of, if the first trailer that popped off was any indication, that this is pretty much a reboot, yet another reboot of Mortal Kombat, which is taking a lot of liberties and changing some stuff up. Seeing Ed Boon on stage and whatnot, he's saying that, like, Sub-Zero and Scorpion are brothers now, that's very interesting. That's a nice change of pace. I think Melina is now the princess, adjacent to Katana being the princess of, was it Edenia, I think? Maybe that's changed, but it seems like Melina is now is the prince in this reboot, instead of Katana, which that seems to lead to some interesting dynamics. It seems like, of course, Melina still has the Tarkatan blood, or I forget the lore specifically on how she becomes who she is, but it seems like she wasn't always like that. I thought she was born into it, but maybe it's Maybelline. I couldn't resist. Let me stop. Maybe she's born with it. Maybe it's maybe she's born with. Maybe it's Tarkatan. Oh, oh man, that's up there, man. That's I'm putting that in the archive. Oh man, that's killing me. Maybe it's Tarkatan. Oh man. Okay. That took me out, not gonna lie. Um so you got them. You got Johnny Cage revealed himself, you know, just as an asshole and arrogant as ever. Interesting addition is Kenshi. I'm pretty sure it's Kenshi. Is it Kenshi? Now I'm questioning myself. I think it's Kenshi. Yeah, Kenshi. Just had to be sure. Kenshi was pretty dope. What's interesting is that he has his vision in some of the story. I'm assuming he loses it at some point because they show when they were showing the gameplay, or like the character select, he is blindfolded, at his character select screen, but he has vision, presumably in the campaign. So I assume we see how he does lose his sight, which I'm not sure in terms of previous lore how he did before. I think it was some big bad boss, probably Shao Kahn, that probably made him lose his. Now I'm curious. Let's ask that question. How did Kenshi go blind? Kenshi opens a well inside the tomb where the sword supposedly lay. He is overwhelmed by the souls trapped within and permanently blinded. I see. So specifically, when he gets the sword essentially kind of corrupts him in a way. That's cool. So I'm curious if Johnny Cage owns it. Maybe he just didn't know the power or unlock the power of it, which would make him go blind. So interesting. Yeah, so you had him, you had a young Kun Lao, like throwing his signature hat, but obviously to no effect. Clearly he needs to learn how to use the hat, as the hat is not enforced with, sheer blades around the brim, but he did like get another similar. Well, it's kind of like a reference, self-referential in a way, where he got a smaller, like, I guess, sharp dish or disc, essentially, and threw it at Sub-Zero and like scratched, fucking cut his arm. So that was interesting. They showed a young Raiden, with some of his powers, just beating ass. Then they also showed Liu Kang, Fire God. What is he called? Something. I think he's Fire God, but he also got imbued the electrical power from old universe Raiden. So yeah, but he looked dope. Everybody looked dope. The move sets and the combos and the juggling. People was bouncing on the ground and bouncing up like a damn NBA ball. Spalding. Is Spalding let me look it up. Spalding. Yeah, I got it. I had to make sure. Spalding, yeah. And then of course it's not Mortal Kombat without the fatalities. So there was cutting a dude. Raiden shot Kenshi in the chest with thunder. Then it showed Raiden cutting a dude in half and then bringing them together with the magnetism of thunder or something like that. I don't know. So that was interesting. Um, yeah. But the other big, very interesting aspect mechanic of the game is cameo characters. So basically, think Marvel versus Capcom, where basically you call in people for assists, and they seem to do a lot more than like a traditional tag fighter. As in they can break combos. So I assume like any combo you want to break, they'll pop in and break a combo. They also will do various combos within your combos. So they basically supplement your combos in a way. So definitely a lot of lab work discovering, what complements or combos complement your characters that you want to play with, and see how kind of like the chemistry works, which I think that adds a whole nother type of layer to the gameplay. And I think it's still kind of a way to reference the MK 10 and 11, with their various character types, archetypes, if you will. So at least now it's more not as or strict in terms of like, you can only do these certain moves with a character, and you clearly find out which character is the best, and then you know, which was the gripe with MK11, because you had to pick a variant, but then you can modify it, but then those modifications aren't necessarily legal in the fighting game, like tournaments and stuff. So that just, I think, just was a little too much. But at least now it feels more focused, more straightforward, which I think is definitely for the better. I think it was this seems, on the surface at least, from what we've seen so far, it seems like a really good decision to do. And apparently you can do like uh cameo fatalities, so you can like, I guess presumably have your cameo do a fatality for you, which I think that's a pretty dope layer, depending on how it works, which is pretty dope. I wonder, I could see definitely some hidden stuff maybe being within, like, maybe if certain conditions are met, you have a certain like synergy of two particular characters or something like that. Maybe you could do some hidden like double fatality with your cameo character, which would be cool. They did, the cameo characters can like do assist X-ray moves, which is dope. That's pretty cool. It's a lot. It's a lot that these cameo characters can do, and at least I think we were all on the mind track that like, well, if they're a cameo, I guess they can't be a main character, which apparently that's not the case. From what Ed Boon said on stage, is that some cameo characters can also be our main characters in the game. So that kind of muddies up some of the at least in comparison to like, the Smash games, where the trophy, was it trophy or me costume? If it's a me costume, is they're not going to be a main character essentially, which pretty much was the case. So at least in this situation, yeah, it you could definitely tell like they have Jax, they had Sonya, and they had Kano, and I think Sub-Zero as at least the current cameo characters that they did show slash display when they showed the game. So I think it's safe to say all those characters are going to be in the game. I mean, those are like the essential Mortal Kombat pillar characters, if you will, in my opinion. So I definitely see them being characters in this game. It's interesting that they look very, very like Mortal Kombat 1 and 2 type characters in terms of like their design costumes, which I guess is intentional from what Ed said as well. So, whew, I'm very interested for sure. The gameplay looks great, way more fluid, not as like unnatural as like, you know, I think which has always been the negative sentiment towards some of the Mortal Kombat games, where just the combos and the moves, the motion itself felt very unnatural and fluid to the point where it's hard to kind of really buy into in a way, you know. So I dig it. I'm into it. Can't wait to hear more. Apparently we're gonna get a lot of details over the summer, character reveals and stuff like that. So sign me up. Sign me up. We got Sonic Superstars. I guess apparently a new 2D classic Sonic game coming this year. It has 4 players. You can play Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, and Amy, which is interesting. Looks promising. As somebody who's kind of been out the Sonic game, I guess, since technically Sonic Adventure. What else? Fortnite got a little preview of the next season. Wilds. At least they revealed the at least the marquee character of the season is Optimus Prime. So hey, hopefully we get you can't have Optimus Prime and not have a transform emote where you could transform into a truck and drive, a traversal emote. We need it. If you got it, I'm giving money, and that's all I'm saying. I'm just putting that out there. Just letting that be known. Alan Wake 2, we got a pretty decent gameplay reveal. It seemed to be like a further extension of what they showed at the PlayStation Showcase. It seemed pretty much like the same setup, but I dug it. It's interesting. You saw, of course, the tried and true mechanic with the light, flashlight revealing, I guess, weak points to shoot, but it took a little bit to take that guy down. She put damn near 24 bullets in that dude, it felt like. But hey, I'm digging it. They at least confirmed it is 2 playable characters, Alan Wake and Saga Anderson, the black woman FBI officer. Apparently a 50-50 split between the 2 of them. So that's cool. I'm definitely looking forward to that. John Carpenter's Toxic Commando, which feels like a mix between definitely some Left 4 Dead vibes. I guess mix it with like kind of The Thing in a way, not in the traditional sense, but just the 80s, I guess, vibe. What was The Thing? I thought it came out maybe in the late 70s. No, I think it. Let's fact check. $1982. Wow, that's pretty. Man, I didn't know it was that far back. Sandland, which is I guess a new action game from Akira Toriyama and Bandai Namco. Akira Toriyama, who's I guess the famous artist who, you know, of course made Dragon Ball. And I'm pretty sure he was involved with Dragon Quest series. So there's that. Looked interesting. You had Pal World, which it's funny that I think this game has been in beta for a long time. Like previously, I think we've seen like some viral videos of this, like Pokemon being used as human, Pokemon shields, essentially, from bullets, and Pokemon with Gatling guns and stuff. And I'm not gonna lie to you, as somebody who used to be a big Pokemon fan, and you know now is into guns in terms of the video game sense. I mean, I might give it a shot. I just might. They talked about Final Fantasy Ever Crisis getting a closed beta, which is the mobile only version of Final Fantasy VII, or kind of is they're remaking pretty much the whole Final Fantasy VII saga of like the prequels and the aftermaths into this one condensed game. But hope it does not stay in mobile. I think after everything is done and said and done, I think we'll hopefully at least get the Switch or something. I don't know. Just this does not deserve to be stuck on mobile. We'll see. Baldur's Gate 3. It was a very odd Twisted Metal trailer clip of, Sweet Tooth, voiced by Will Arnett, who presented the video. And well, man, it's funny if I describe it, it feels like people wouldn't believe me, but it's like it was like Sweet Tooth was beating the shit out of, I don't even know Anthony Mackie's character. I don't know if he's a new or old character, but beating his ass in this casino and finally getting his ass to the slots with his face against one of the slot machines, and then he's like, yeah, give me that killing music. And then he turns on Thong Song by Cisco. And I'm like, and then he's singing like, give me your butt. And then Anthony starts singing with him. And he's like, oh, you like Cisco? It's like, man, I listened to the last, I forgot whatever Cisco's album was, something the Dragon. I listened to it till the CD wore out. And he's like, oh man, I don't know why I'm beating your ass now. And then that's it. I'm like, I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, it seemed kind of on brand, but not really. It was, I don't know. I didn't know how to interpret that at all, but I digress. Marvel Snap, Call of Duty new season. Exo Primal getting a Street Fighter 6 crossover. So I was thinking how they set it up. I was like, oh shit, are we gonna get Cyber Ryu? And and then it was like, no, this is sorry guys, this is just the Exo Primal crossover. And like, damn it. So that was pretty disappointing, not gonna lie. They just to set it up like Street Fighter 6, and then just it'd be a damn Exo Primal crossover. Well, you lost my attention there. Liza P, aka if we can't get Bloodborne, we'll take this. I guess released a demo during the event as well today. Also announced the release date being September 15th or 19th. Witcher Season 3 trailer. Warhammer Space Marine co-op, I guess. I don't even remember that. This is pretty funny. So I think we knew about the Nicolas Cage DLC coming to Dead by Daylight, but we literally got Nicolas Cage. He showed himself at the Summer Games Fest on stage, and he's just cracking jokes, and it's like literally Nicolas Cage, and it's funny. It is so funny. He was talking about something like, why now? Why are you like, getting into games and stuff? It was like, well, I had a little one that got me into the game, and it's so funny nowadays. It's like it feels like that's the gateway now. It's like, well, my son is really in this game. I guess I'll try to get into it, or I assume it's the other way. People maybe asking if he wants to get into the game or something like that, and oh, my son really loves Dead by Daylight, so. You know what? I couldn't resist, so I said yes, and just seeing Nicolas Cage as one of the survivors in Dead by Daylight is it is funny as hell. Just it's just literally Nicolas Cage in Dead by Daylight, which he was clearly transparent about, like when he was on stage, which was very funny. It was very hilarious, just to the point where I'm like, you know what, I might even be entertained to just go back to Fortnite specifically just for that reason. So that was an unexpected delight. I was like, oh yeah, okay, just a Dead by Daylight trailer, okay, whatever. And then it's like, what? No, we present to you Nicholas. Like, oh shit, he really. I wonder. I think he stays in California, but nonetheless, it's just like what was it? Al Pacino? Was it Al Pacino at the last year's Game Awards? Where it's, it just is always bizarre just to see, like, somebody who's clearly in Hollywood, who at least is presented to not have any recollection of video games, just to actually, be in our world, which is always, that in of itself I do find pretty interesting. Witchfire, that looked pretty dope. I was digging the graphics. Remnant 2 release date. What else? Anything else that was captivating? Just a lot of filler. Fae Farm, just to kind of cleanse our palates from the Mortal Kombat 1 immense violence. We got Fae Farm with the giving the cozy vibes. Party Animals gonna release date. I thought that already released, but that just goes to show my knowledge of that game. Spider-Man 2, we actually finally got a release date. So they did reveal the release date to be October 20th, which that is a pretty damn good release date. I'm very excited for that. Revealed the box art, which looks fire. It's got Peter and Miles Morales, but Peter's arm is infected by the symbiote. So he's shooting a symbiotic web, if you will. I assume like Venom and symbiote Spider-Man are always shooting with Venom. I don't think it's web, or maybe it's emulated web from the Venom. I don't know. It's probably answered, but I'm looking forward to it very much so. October 20th can't come soon enough. Just like early 2024 can't come soon enough, because the final bomb that Jeff dropped on us was Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. We got the damn trailer. What was funny was he when he announced Ever Crisis, and then he was like, well, hey, Ever Crisis, sign up for the beta now. Speaking of Final Fantasy VII, and then they're like, what? Wait a minute, I'm not, huh? He's like, what? Calm down. No. This is just the DoorDash. There's a DoorDash ad. And like, oh, Jeff, why you got to do that? Don't do that to us. That hurted a bit, but at least now we did. Sometime I was like, we're gonna get the payoff, because there was on the official Twitter for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, they did like somewhat of a countdown type thing, where like they were counting the days, and each consecutive day they were just saying like just revealing little tidbits about the game, like the music is very fully fledged, and there's like co-op attacks and stuff like that. Then when you started putting it together, it was like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then of course people started putting together that the seventh what would be the seventh reveal or announcement would be on the same day as Summer Games Fest, which was today. And then sure enough, You know, Jeff was like, yeah, rumors do come true or something like that. I'm paraphrasing, but then we got the Final Fantasy VII Rebirth trailer. Pretty beefy trailer, to be honest. We got a lot of details. I was in disbelief when I saw it for the first time. I could not fathom what transpired. I couldn't even I just was trying to process. My jaw was dropped. I couldn't even process. I was speechless, to be honest. Just just stunned on all fronts. But yeah, man, we saw like the Kokobo Ranch, what I believe is calm. It's a lot of my knowledge of like the mid game has been fragmented. Of course, I recall the very important like pivotal moments, but man, got the Kokobo Ranch. You got Boonenhagen, who talks about like the whole concept of the Mako in general, and whew, you got they introduced Elena. Um, man, they showed co-op attacks. Um, man, and the damn environments are just beautiful. Just goodness. Oh man, you got a little Sephiroth action. My God, it's so great. It's so great. And of course, they showed a little bit of the flashback with I think it's the flashback to essentially the flashback of, damn it, I don't think it is it Calm. Some of my knowledge is fragmented, but nonetheless, the flashback showing the original events of how Cloud became Cloud and things like that, and showing Tifa going up to Sephiroth with his own sword, and then getting, or was it? I think it's Sephiroth. Yeah, Sephiroth cuts her, and then that was it. So it's very apparent we're gonna definitely getting that flashback for sure. I mean, obviously you can't do Final Fantasy VII without that flashback. So, whew, it's a lot. It's a lot to digest. I like watched that trailer like 3 times already. Many more to come. And then freaking the characters are well, at least they started off with the characters being destroyed from the I presumably the events after the first game, that the Midgar, the falling of the plates, it I guess happened while they were there, so they were damaged, or maybe that's alternate universe, and that we're getting into that whole theory tinfoil hat theory territory where we all like having our conspiracies about what's going on, what's coming next and stuff. But whew, yeah. And we got a release date, well, a rough release date, early 2024. I love how they specified 2 discs. They said this game is gonna be on 2 discs, so it's a lot you could take from that. But I think the biggest thing I feel that confirms is that you will be able to explore at least a good majority of what you normally would be able to have explored within the original game. So I think that is probably the biggest question I think that answers. But yes, give me all that data. I don't care if this game is don't care if this game is 300 gigs. I don't care. It's that's 300 gigs well spent. I'm just saying. That yeah, I totally would. I would never delete it. I would just no. 300. The game was 1 terabyte. Would you still, if the game took up 1 terabyte of your PS5? Well, your PS5 base PS5 without like an M.2 drive is, ooh, that ain't working. Something getting cut. So yeah, definitely definitely at least is take up the majority of your PS5 base data storage. It just takes enough to pretty much not let you install any other games at that. Man, that would be funny. I mean, I'd complain maybe, but I mean, I'm still gonna do it. But no, I think, yeah, that's a good question though. That's a good bet. Probably, my guess is probably like 2 discs. What's the what's the storage? I think it's 50. What's the storage capacity of a PS5 disc? I know it's Blu-ray. Jesus. Well, no, that's just I was about to say 667 gigabytes, but no, that's the PS5's internal disk drive space of a typical PS5 disc. 100 gigabytes. Oh, damn. Yeah, with this PS5 disc can hold up to 100 gigabytes of data. Yeah, so if it's 2 discs, it definitely at least is guaranteed over 100 gigabytes off 1 disc alone. Yeah, so actually 200 is not that far off now. This game could damn well be 200 gigabytes. And that will be, yes, 200 gigabytes that will never get erased or deleted. Yeah. Yeah, man. I will take that 200. I will sacrifice those 200 gigabytes willingly. You hear me? Willingly. I will sacrifice those 200 gigabytes with reckless abandon. You hear me? You hear me? Reckless abandon. Oh man. It's so much. It's so much. It was Cloud and Tifa teaming up and doing the signature, like, oh yeah, we're together, we're fighting stuff together. And it was some deer running in the foliage when you were exploring the open worlds. And yeah, so this is literally the open. Wow, it's clicking now. So this is literally the open world that you're literally exploring. Oh my God. Wow. My mind is blown. Oh man. Wow. Man. Wow, so this is literally the whole world, essentially. Wow. Man, it's like I just had an epiphany. And it's funny, it took me until now to process what the hell this trailer was, because I literally, when I saw it in at the show, my jaw was dropped. I was just captivated, and I was just amazed. Wow. So literally, that is so dope. Man. Yes. 2 discs are worth it. Oh man, this is goodness. Yes. Give me it all. Give me every inch. Give me every speck, every damn aspect. I just wanna lick everything. I don't know why lick came to mind, but nonetheless. Whew. So That's how they ended it. Which is funny, at least in reference to PlayStation's showcase, because it's like now, which is very interesting, because like a lot of these announcements definitely could have, or potentially probably were, maybe in talks of being presented at the PlayStation showcase, but I'm guessing PlayStation maybe sacrificed those announcements for Summer Games Fest potentially, or if they came to a mutual agreement somehow, some way. So, cause yeah, like the Spider-Man 2 launch date, which that makes more sense. You show us the gameplay at the showcase and then give us the release date at Summer Games Fest. That seems like a fair kind of trade, and also benefits PlayStation as well. But yeah, man, seeing Rebirth at Summer Games Fest instead of PlayStation Showcase, that's very interesting. Man, the strings Jeff probably had to pull for that, but man, they were worth it, let me tell you. Whew, goodness. Overall, yeah, definitely a solid B. Solid B. A lot of the did I even talk about? Did I even talk about? How could I of all people have missed Like a Dragon Gaiden? We saw the trailer for Like a Dragon Gaiden. The man who has, well, I want to say who has no name, who erased his name. I didn't even know they revealed the release date is November 9th of this year. Which the game is a spin-off of course, the man, the myth, the legend, Kiryu Kazama, or my bad, Kazama Kiryu, depending on where you're located. Um, yeah, basically the return of him in a traditional Yakuza game, in a traditional sense. None of that turn-based stuff. No, we brawling, we throwing these damn threads at people and pulling strings and shit. I mean, I'm down. I don't know what it is, but I'm down. But yes, that's Yakuza Gaiden, or my bad. I'm always gonna call it Yakuza at this point, because I mean that's just ingrained. But Like a Dragon Gaiden, the man who erased his name, Kiryu just looking cool. It's like how I didn't think Kiryu could get any cooler, but yet he still does. And hey, that just goes towards his character. But of course, I'm a Kiryu. I'm a Kiryu. I don't even know what the term. Simp is not accurate, because it's just that just be weird. It's not like that. It's like I really like the character, But I digress. Okay, Kiryu is great. If you haven't, you should play Yakuza, aka Like a Dragon, at this point, because my goodness, whew, that trailer was great. Beating people up. I'm really curious about that string mechanic, but it looked interesting. I'm into it though. Trust me. I'm motivated. Oh man. What else? Yeah, that man, goodness. Yeah, good solid B. This is one for the history books for sure. I'm so amazed that he got Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, because man, especially like Final Fantasy 16 hasn't even released yet. So yeah, man, January 1st, please let that be the first. Let it just just right when 2024 starts, release Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. That, please. Early 2024 is not descriptive enough. Very early 2024, please, and thank you. Yeah. So, oh man. Okay, I think I've gushed enough. So there you go. Summer Games Fest. Moving on. May 2023 PlayStation Showcase happened. Oh man, it feels so long. Every just stuff just does not feel relative now. But yes, PlayStation Showcase transpired May 24th. And boy, I could not tell you what happened there. So let me look back up. Because I don't know at all. Don't recall. Oh, man. Feels like it's been so long. It really has. Again, cutting through the grit. I think they started off with a game called, was it Payback? Pay Money? I think I got Payday in the head, but it was something pay something. What was it? Payload, Paymo, Pay at the door, Pay 24. Something games. This list is not helping me out at all. This list has failed me. This list has failed me. Not concise enough. Fair Games. That's what it's called. Fair Games. So it just the CGI reveal trailer, which I'm not a fan of. Or if you do it, at least show some gameplay after it. Maybe dispersed in between the trailer, but just a full CGI trailer is not the way to go nowadays, in my opinion. But yeah, at least they touted as competitive modern heist game where you team up to break into exotic locations and steal cargo. Whatever that means, I don't know. I have no idea what that means. But yeah, at least it's giving off vibes like Payday, but with some spin on it where maybe it's Payday, but you're against a competing robbery team, I guess. So there's that. Helldivers 2, which it seems like it's a traditional third-person shooter now, which I'm kind of into. Yeah, I think the previous one was a isometric shooter. So you got that. Ghost Runner 2. Oh yeah, what was very interesting, caught my attention for sure, was Phantom Blade Zero. I want to say that. Phantom Blade Zero. That'd be kind of cool, I'm not gonna lie. Phantom Blade Zero. It gives off definitely some Neo vibes, but I don't think it's even developed by those folks. It's a new developer, Cruel Man Studio. So, and man, it looked very great. Just the animations, the fluidity of it all. Sign me up. Day one. He was spinning and just doing stuff, and he had like the Raiden hat. I know that's ignorant, but you know, I'm just trying to describe it as best I can and keep it basic. So there was that. Sword of the Sea, Talos Principle 2, Cat Quest. I know everybody was waiting. I know you was waiting for that Cat Quest. Oh God. I know you was waiting for that Cat Quest. Oh, I just see like a Christmas commercial. The kid, he's just like, He's just excited. He knows the like this is the few couple days before Christmas. He's excited. He been putting Cat Quest posters all on his parents room and door. Like, Cat Quest, please. I only request one thing, Cat Quest. And oh, oh man. Then Christmas Day, Father, thought he opened all his presents, right? He's just bummed out, and then sure enough, he's he comes with it. It's hidden behind his back. He's like, like, I know you've been waiting for that Cat Quest. I know you've been waiting. Oh god. Oh man. I know you've been waiting for that Cat Quest. He just oddly whispers it in his ear. He gave it to him already. He's playing it. He's playing it. He said, I know you've been waiting for that Cat Quest. Oh God. Whew. Oh man, that just killed me. I can't, man. That just killed me, man. Oh man. I know you've been waiting. All right, I'm trying to get my composure. I really am. Oh, so after. Oh God. I know you've been waiting for that Cat Quest. Oh God. Okay. I'm trying to refrain. All right. I'm gonna get there. Okay. I know you've been waiting for that Cat Quest. I know you've been waiting. Oh man. Okay. All right. All right. All right. I think I got it out. I think I got it out. So after that, we got not Splatoon. Not Splatoon, but we got we got we got Splatoon at home. AKA Foam Stars. Foam Stars, which is, yes, by Square Enix. It is very apparently a Splatoon clone. Instead of ink, foam. It the same objective, cover up majority of the surface area with foam, not ink. Don't get it. How dare you get it mixed up with Splatoon? You uncultured swine. It's foam stars. All right, it's foam stars. Get it right. Get it right. How dare you compare this to the audacity, the nerve, the gumption to compare this to Splatoon? Absolutely not. But yeah, foam stars. So yeah, basically a Splatoon clone. So for what that's worth, I mean, hey, if you was dying to play some Splatoon or had a Splatoon itch you needed to scratch, and your Switch isn't around, I mean, we get foam stars. We got foam stars at home, you know. So there you go, foam stars. Of course, man. The rumors was circulating for a good while, probably like 4 years, I'd say, a good 4 years. Oh my God, my eye. A good 4 years. But we finally got a reveal for Metal Gear Solid, not 3, not Triangle, dummy. Not what you would think, dumbass. Metal Gear Solid Delta. And I guess Snake I got it. Snake Eater. Yeah. Metal Gear Solid Delta. Dummy. I guess the reasoning behind Delta was some kind of wannabe Kojima explanation because a delta is always round or something. I forgot the explanation, but it felt very like it came off very like I want to be Kojima, but because it's not Kojima, it just doesn't have that charm to it. It's funny, it's the fact that because it's, I think specifically the fact that it's not Kojima makes it feel very contrived, even though I think if you look at it like intently, it's like, that is pretty clever, but it's like, well, it's Kojima's not even involved, and it's like, it just comes off very, is it trite? Trite? I'm gonna make sure I'm using that right. I am very big on that. Of remark, opinion, overuse, and consequently of little import, lacking originality or freshness. Oh yeah, I think that's pretty accurate. Yeah. So, yeah, again, another CGI trailer, which I mean, for this, the reveal is pretty impressive because, it's like, oh, what is it's an alligator fighting a snake? What is going to happen? And then it's like, oh shit, that's Snake. But Kojima's not behind it, so I don't, cautiously optimistic, absolutely 100%, because boy, this could go some ways and feel just not right. But I think they're better. This is probably the best way for them to go regardless. I'd rather them do this than make a fully another Metal Gear Survive. Yeah, I'd take this over that any day. So we'll see. Alongside this announcement, they also announced the Metal Gear Collection Volume 1, which consists of Metal Gear Solid 1, 2, and 3, which is basically, from what sources say, are from the HD ports from PS3 and 360. So that's a pretty good way to go, because those were made by Blue Point Games, who are pretty renowned in the industry for making like really great ports / remakes, which I think they did Shadow of the Colossus, which I haven't played, but I heard great things about. And of course, Demon Souls for PS5, which was fantastic. So you get that. You get that. You got that. They also did reveal the original voice cast for the remake specifically, which basically they're just reusing the voices from the original games, which is fair. I'd rather, again, totally fine with that. Just we'll see, man. We'll see. Cautiously optimistic. Very cautiously optimistic. We'll see. I don't know, man. I mean, I'm glad they're doing it. I'm glad Metal Gear's, they're not just letting the franchise die. So I can't, complain too much, but cautiously optimistic. More Final Fantasy 16 than we need to see at this point. Alan Wake 2 trailer. Assassin's Creed Mirage. Saw a fair amount of gameplay there. Grand Blue Fantasy Relink. Street Fighter 6 World Tour Mode. Dragon's Dogma 2. That was crazy. Dragon's Dogma 2. Boy. And it looks pretty well in the production for sure. Goodness. Dragon's Dogma 2, man. Just who would have thought, huh? But here we are. Dragon's Dogma 2. No release date, but it seems like, I think recently a Steam store page for the game was revealed, even though I don't think a port, it coming to PC wasn't necessarily announced yet. So we definitely are probably going to hear something. I think Capcom has their showcase Monday, next Monday. So that's cool. Whole VR block, which is give or take, but at least the most notable was Resident Evil 4 VR mode. They showed a little bit more. Still pretty much at the village section, but at least probably the biggest difference from the Oculus version, Oculus port of RE4 is that it has the parry mechanic. So basically, you throw your sword up and it'll seems to automatically do it. I assume if you have the durability for it. Synapse, which is so weird for me because it's basically, it has the voice of David Hayter and he's like, in this different setting, but it's like all I hear is Solid Snake. But it's a gift and a curse when it comes to that. It's just so iconic and resonates that it's hard to kind of detach that from a certain character to another one. I mean, especially the delivery and stuff is just basically the same, but I digress. We got an announcement of Marathon, which basically it's hard to describe, but it seems like it's, I guess, kind of a reboot, but not necessarily, because it's not, I guess it would be a reboot. It's probably the best way to describe it. But basically, Marathon was one of the first games Bungie made back in the day. But now it's totally different from what it originally was, which I think was just like a traditional shooter, maybe with some exploring elements, I want to say. But Marathon is, I think they call it a loot. Is it a loot shooter or a running shooter or something like that, where I guess the objective is to, I couldn't even tell you. Extraction shooter, sci-fi PvP extraction shooter. So I guess kind of something similar to, I guess, DMZ from like Call of Duty, or maybe Escape from Tarkov, which I guess that's the original material that all of that DMZ deviated from. But I guess something like that. It again, yet another CGI trailer, so we have no clue. But this is probably a long ways away, so it looked interesting enough. But I definitely would like to see gameplay to at least get me interested. But it's cool to see Bungie actually work on something else other than Destiny, as somebody who's not been quite that much a fan of it after the first one. So yeah, with that being said, they did show just Destiny 2 DLC, The Final Shape. I just want to say that just sounds interesting. Destiny 2, The Final Shape. I don't know. That just didn't roll off like I wanted it to. Concord, a new PvP multiplayer first person shooter. Apparently launching in 2024. And then it gets pretty weird. They did show what was a fairly rumored piece of equipment called Project Q, which is basically a DualSense controller with a screen powered by the cloud. So basically it's a means to play your games remotely, whether it be within the same household or if you're at somebody else's house that has Wi-Fi. This seems to be the use case scenario for that. Or I guess, if your significant other is watching TV and, you still want to play your games, you could just do that. But boy, does the design look really weird. It definitely gives off a prototype vibe, at least from what we've been shown. It looks close to like I don't know, just something about it just feels very odd. It's just like literally they just sliced the DualSense in half. Well, sliced the DualSense in quarters and got rid of the middle touchpad, and then just slapped a touch screen in between. We don't even know if doubt it's a touch screen. Well, I guess maybe for it probably is a touch screen, but slapped a LCD screen in between and called it a day. So yeah, I don't know. If it was cheap enough, I would probably bite. I'm not gonna lie. Maybe if it was like 150, I'd probably bite, depending on that. But otherwise, no. It just, if it's 200 plus, it just is not worth it at all. It just does not. There's no really appeal to it necessarily. I guess really, unless I could see the hacking scene get into it, breaking it open and being able to do some cool stuff with it, like play emulators and stuff like that, and while also having the traditional functionality that would make it more interesting. But again, that's unofficial, so that's the Wii U has come again, but I guess not necessarily in this case. Maybe it will make it probably a little bit cooler if you could do some cool stuff with it, like kind of like make it a better Wii U gamepad, and I don't know, like play some games and do the supplemental maps, show objectives while you're playing the game, so you don't have to pause and stuff like that. But it doesn't seem like it is that. It seems to be very one-off. Like you cannot use it interchangeably or simultaneously with the PS4 in that sense. But we'll see. It seems like it's very well into being made, though. And of course, you got some PlayStation earbuds. But then they ended it off with Spider-Man 2. The extensive gameplay of it started off with Craven cracking somebody's head, or my bad, cracking her neck. Excuse me. and then they skipped to, oh no, they showed like I need my competition, and then they show sir, we got Spider-Man and his buddy Miles Morales and a lot of other people in New York. You could take them out if you want. He's like, show me. Oh, this pleases me very much. I shall go. And so he goes, and then you just get it skipped that, and then you got Spider-Man, and Spider-Man has apparently got the Venom symbiote suit already. It seems like, so I guess this might be fairly early in game, I assume. And then you could you could tell Peter's got a little edge to him. He's like, oh no, I want this is for me. No, I'll finish this. He's got a little chip on his shoulder. When he all of a sudden he got that black suit on. He acting. He got that black suit on. He acting different, but it's like, I'm literally, I got a symbiote. It's changing my personality. But you, some ignorant dude. You got that suit on. You acting different, huh? But yeah. So they showed a extensive gameplay, showing like some doing flipping dudes in the speedo thingy speed. What do you even call those, speedo? I'm just gonna call it speedo. Flipping the dudes in the speedo things and flipping boats and unhinged Peter just dropping people after saving them, and man, he's getting rough. Thankfully Miles is gonna probably keep him in check. It's probably gonna be some, hey man, snap out of it. Now, do I gotta beat your ass to do this? We gonna do this the easy way or the hard way? Peter be like, I want it hard, and then just get his ass beat, and then probably beat his ass so bad the symbiote just leaves him because he's embarrassed, and then probably that's how we get the new Venom. I don't know. I'm probably joking. I'm joking, but I mean it's probably not too far off, to be honest. But I digress. But yeah, man, it looked pretty damn dope. Showed Peter's moveset with the symbiote suit, so I'm curious how that'll come into play. Maybe it'd probably be something where you'll feel empowered and have it for a bit, and then probably after you clear or beat the game, you can probably mess with it again or something, I would guess or assume. But I guess that's another question. We don't know, if hasn't been confirmed yet, at least, if you can play Venom within the game, which I assume so, because at least if the first game is any indication, you got to play as Mary Jane. So I would assume people love Venom. So I mean, I could definitely see them maybe get dedicating a chapter or two, maybe to show the visceralness, the evilness of Venom. We are Venom, and that I don't know, they just do that. I don't know. It's just a guess, but it makes sense. But yeah, that was the PlayStation Showcase, and yeah, overall, it was okay. I'd give it about a C. And had some games I liked, but not enough to, like, I don't know, really get me really amped, excited. But like I was saying earlier, I think you could attribute a lot of this to, I think, PlayStation maybe tactfully saving some of their announcements for Summer Game Fest, because yeah, if we got Rebirth in this announcement, if we got Like a Dragon in this announcement, I think those alone, for me at least, would definitely have raised this up to probably a solid B. Yeah, just those two alone, along with the Metal Gear Solid collection announcement, I'm in. I'd be in. Um, so yeah, nonetheless, that's very interesting. Um, but anywho, um, piggybacking on that, um, one thing that was definitely missing, and I think did at this point start to raise some concern, was the fact that the Last of Us multiplayer, the factions two, or I don't think it had an official name, but has yet to be shown at all. You know, we got tidbits here and there. I think maybe a year or two ago from Neil Druckmann himself, like showing some details and concept art, but never really seen any full gameplay or anything. Well, I forgot we did have that one leak a while back that showed a little bit of the gameplay, but not enough like to be very, it didn't really show it in its best light anyway, really, but nonetheless, yeah, so yeah, it's been a good while, especially since Last of Us 2 happened. Well, I guess there was the Last of Us Part 1 remake for PS5, but still, I think that was a separate team. But yeah, I guess also Naughty Dog is working on a new IP as well, so maybe that wouldn't leave too much room for Last of Us multiplayer, or just overall it's just setbacks. But basically, yeah, people were wondering what's up with the factions, especially after the Last of Us TV show, and drew some hype and stuff like that. So either way, so then Naughty Dog had to release a statement like shortly after, I think a couple days after the PlayStation showcase. Last of Us fans, we know many of you have been looking forward to hearing more about our Last of Us multiplayer game. We're incredibly proud of the job our studio has done thus far. But as development has continued, we realize what is best for the game is to give it more time. Our team will continue to work on the project as well as our other games in development, including a brand new single player experience. We look forward to sharing more soon. We're grateful to our fantastic community for your support. Thank you for your passion for our games. It continues to drive us. So, yeah. So that was the, from Naughty Dog themselves, but of course, Bloomberg, the biggest representative of Bloomberg, one of the most notable reporters out there, Jason Schreier, was had a different story. So basically, what he said, at least in the tweet, kind of truncated from his article from Bloomberg. Naughty Dog has significantly scaled down the team on its Last of Us multiplayer project. Sources say as it reassesses the game. Following Bloomberg's request for comment, the company put out a Twitter statement today saying the game was delayed. So put some heat on them a little bit to yeah, say that everything isn't as smooth as it looks. So that, I think that put a lot of fans in a very concerned state, because like it's been 3-4 years so far that we have yet to hear anything in regards to any progress, and that it's further delayed. So it's not looking great. It's not looking great. But it is what it is, I guess. It is it is what it is. Moving on. Returning back to Mortal Kombat. This was shortly after the initial trailer. Was the initial trailer? No, I thought it was at the PlayStation Showcase, but it was its own thing. I think a little bit before or after, but nonetheless, apparently, I think Amazon Italy, yeah, product listing leaked the DLC characters for Mortal Kombat 1 apparently. And it's very interesting, some of these characters specifically, and especially in comparison with other characters also. So at least the characters that were mentioned, first and foremost, Quan Chi, which totally makes sense. He's definitely been an established character in Mortal Kombat, and people, I think this people generally like him as a character. Then next you have Omni Man, presumably from the Invincible series, the father to Invincible, the Invincible character. I won't spoil anything about it, but yes, just things get a little, can go there. Well, I'll just say that. But so you got Omni Man, and I'm like, how is that gonna work? Well, I guess, well, it's a couple things. Well, first and foremost, it's an animated character, but I mean, I think they've done that for some characters before. Technically, I don't know. I feel like this might be the first fully animated character that would be a guest character in at least a Mortal Kombat game for sure. Could be wrong, but I don't know. I think off the top of my head, I think that he might be a first. So very curious how he would play. Like, is he going to be like Superman? And essentially, because, that's at least kind of who it seems like he emulates within, his series. So I assume that, it would be fairly easy to just, just copy the Superman model from the Injustice game they made, and take some liberties on it and call it a day, kind of thing. Or maybe they could do a different thing and change. But I mean, Omni Man can fly. He's like one of the most powerful people, at least in relative to his comic universe, and I don't know, that it just seems like it just seems like it makes me think of Superman in terms of how he played in Injustice, specifically. So, and then you got Ermac, who, yes, I will believe it. He seems pretty reasonable. I think, again, a lot of people like him and want him. Takeda, who's, I think, is of the combat kids, who are like, the kids that were in 10 and 11, who are, derived from the main characters. I think, yeah, he was definitely a pretty dope character. I'm curious if they're going to do a spin on him, or maybe he's older now and he's more seasoned. He's got like more experience under the belt with his little octopus thingies he got. So I welcome that as well. Then you got Peacemaker from the DC, as well as the presumably probably the HBO series, or HBO or Max now, whatever, but they're all under that same umbrella because it's with WB, or they're owned by WB or something like that. So this makes a lot of sense in that case. And also Peacemaker, at least the show specifically, has definitely a lot of violent undertones and stuff like that. So I'm curious. Mostly, I assume it probably is going to be, and probably some cross promotion with and the same applies to Invincible, because their next season is going to come out at some point. But I think it's probably some cross promotion, because I assume there's probably going to be another season of Peacemaker as well, and perfect opportunity to get that cross promotion going. But I think it's definitely going to be John Cena's likeness put into it, since it's clear, evident that NetherRealm definitely has no issue doing that, being able to do that. So that will be cool / interesting to see how he plays. But I can definitely see him being put in Mortal Kombat. You know, I guess I am curious how they're gonna make them make sense in their universe that is like very much, I don't know. Well, I guess it doesn't necessarily technically matter, but they could probably not have canon, but you know. And then last but not least, certainly not least, Homelander from The Boys, on Amazon Prime, which is very interesting, and specifically in comparison to Omni-Man, who again they're both pretty much Superman equivalents. So it's gonna be interesting to see how they play, unless they do some, which I hope they don't do, some dumb depower mechanic where like, oh crap, I've been depowered specifically for the needs of this game, so I can't fly anymore, or I can't do any of my very powerful stuff. Darn it. Man, right when I'm have to be a character to compete with all these other characters too. Drat. Damn it. I hate that trope. That's a trope that needs to die. If they pop, just let them be pop. Let them be whoever they want to be. Don't try to restrict them just to make them more realistic in your universe. Just make them whoever, you know, they originally are, as true to who they are, and you know, I don't know, make it make sense. But yeah, that's apparently all the leaked characters for Mortal Kombat 1 DLC. I'm just very curious of the Omni-Man and Homelander characters themselves, because it just having two Superman-like characters in one DLC is just suspicious in of itself. Just like, how would that work? I don't know. I just feel like there's probably some depowering of some sort, I'm guessing, which, you know, I've already ranted about. So, interesting stuff. I don't know. Interesting stuff. With that being said, that concludes all the news for this week. Let's talk about what I've been playing. Which has been surprisingly, I double dipped Neon White on the Switch, which I'm surprised runs 60 FPS for the most part, and has been a very fun experience. I actually like fully completed the game, at least on the PC / Steam Deck. I just did the main game, and then whenever I would, you know, play again, I would just play the speed run mode, or basically a speed run mode where pretty much you just play through all the levels in one fell swoop, rather than, you know, going to a middle world and all that stuff, which I think that's the best way to replay Neon White for sure. It's been a fun experience, but on the other end, it's been fun to actually do the side quests and the side missions and stuff like that, which has been challenging and fun, and you know, get a new aspect revealed, shade of some of these characters that you know, I played and got to know previously, but actually getting the full story now, doing everything. And actually, if you do that, you unlock the true ending, what I assume is the true or alternate ending, depending on who you ask. But that has been fun. It was just Neon White is just how would I describe it? A comfortable and accessible game. Probably the best way I can describe it. Just just so engaging, and just the music, the Machine Girl soundtrack is just fire, and then just speed run into some electronic house techno. I guess more electronic techno slash, I guess it's got a little house vibes to it. Nonetheless, all going up my alley. So after beating it, completing it, then I was like, I unlocked a mode I never unlocked before, which I think is called Heaven mode, where basically you get the Dominion, which is the rocket card in the game. You basically play through the whole game where you get Dominion instead of any of the other weapons, which surprisingly I didn't know how versatile Dominion is until playing this mode, which I mean technically, like, literally, because the weapon replaces all the other weapons, it just breaks the game a lot, I think. But so I dig that very much so. And my camera is just doing it, so I'm just gonna let it do. I'm just gonna let it do what it does. It's kind of it feels more engaging in a way. So I'm just it's trying. It's doing what it can. But yeah, so played through that literally after I beat it, and then that sucked me in because I was just curious how different the game plays, which it does play surprisingly different in a lot of ways, because the Dominion, you can do the grapple hook discard ability as well as shoot the rocket, but because you get so many rockets, you could just literally just give yourself some air, shoot your rockets at locations instead of having to actually navigate to them to kill the enemies, which was very fun. It was very, very fun. So Neon White does it again, man. Love that game. This is literally one of the best indie games I've ever played. It's definitely, man, I might even put it above Hotline Miami. It's probably, yeah, Neon White, Hotline Miami, maybe My Friend Pedro. Probably might like my top 3 off the top of my head. So good. So good. I love it. I love it so much. I love it so much. It's making me think of the one joke that now I forgot. I know you've been waiting for that Neon White. Oh, it's not as funny because it's got to be like a game that just is not as, well, Neon White is not necessarily that popular, but I digress. Also played a fair amount of EDF World Brothers, Earth Defense Force, World Brothers. So basically it's Earth Defense Force, but if you give it a chibi like kitty spin, which actually surprisingly works. I didn't think it would, but it actually does. I like it a lot. Basically, the added element that I do like and appreciate most is the factor that you can collect EDF soldiers, which is pretty dope. Just collecting the EDF soldiers, and they have different abilities and attributes and moves, which makes it way more interesting and engaging. And then you get other variants of those variants kind of thing. And that's just been very fun. It's just been giving me them dopamine hits that I've been looking for. And then of course, the standard, gunplay feels very good. I love shooting me some giant spiders, man. Just some giant spiders and ants, and just shooting them, and they die and they blow up, and then you get the B Camp movie stuff with the, oh my God, they're coming from the left, and then you could just while that's happening, you just be chanting EDF, and it does something to me. I think it's probably the same appeal that people who love Musu games get. It's just this, I don't know, kind of almost indescribable, just fulfillment and subtle dopamine hits of just, I don't know, just some I can't even say mundane. It's very interesting. You just shooting large bugs. It's something that sounds so basic, but actually is just very, very interesting. And engaging for some reason to me. which is why I always have an affinity towards EDF because, my goodness, whew, you know, EDF. So yes, that's been great. Played probably about like a good 5 or so hours, which yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed. EDF. Also, of course, I played. Hold on. Take a sip. All this gushing. Gotta be hydrated. Okay. Street Fighter 6. So pretty much exclusively just been playing the World Tour mode, which is basically the single player RPG-esque / kind of tutorial type mode that I actually beat yesterday, which is, yeah, man, it's probably the best single player content. Ooh, I don't know. I can't say that willingly. I don't think anything can beat Tekken Force from Tekken 3, though. Yeah, I think that's still the top, in my opinion. But otherwise, it's definitely up there in terms of some of the best single player content for a fighting game, for sure. Put it right up there next to Mortal Kombat Deception's Conquest mode. Yeah, it's very fun. Very fun. It's you know, it also a final fight love letter, essentially, because you got, you know, so many final fight references. It's just gonna make your head blow up. You got Carlos Miyamoto, who's you know, he's in the game, who's one of the former characters from the Final Fight, I think Final Fight 2. You got the Andors, the sons, and you know, you got, of course, store references like Abigail's what's it called, his junkyard. I think that was from Street Fighter 5 technically. It's a lot of references for sure. Even which I never would have guessed, there's some damn God Hand references. Like, my God, just the amount of God Hand references are just godly.
Nobody's safe.
That was the wrong, but I'm gonna stick with it. So you got that. What else? Damn it. Yeah, of course, other miscellaneous references that at least didn't catch my eye, but I know they reference a lot of other things. Of course, other IPs and Capcom IPs and stuff like that too. What was cool? And I was messing with the fight lobby just to, you know, get my bearings in terms of like my favorite characters, stuff like that. You can actually select in terms of your like I guess greeting quotes. Like you could say, "Hey, I played Capcom Fighting Evolution. I played Saturday Night Slam Masters." I'm like, well, that's what I gotta put. Clearly, I gotta rep Saturday Night Slam Masters, aka I think is it called Muscle Bomber in Japan. I think it's just called Muscle Bomber. Yeah, Muscle Bomber Duo. Yeah, but nonetheless, so those are some dope references. I dug. But yeah, just pretty much it's very one thing I didn't really think about until after I was playing a good while, and I just realized it. I was like, this game takes a lot of inspiration from the Yakuza games for sure. You get the, which I guess you can't attribute only to Yakuza, but general RPG stuff where, there's the line of text. You read through lines of text, and then after certain lines of text, they'll say like a sub comment to like invoking a certain emotion or thought or sentiment of said read statement within the game. Like, should have did that one. What are you talking about? Stuff like that, which it works. And surprisingly, it works for me. So I have no issue with that. But it's a funny observation. What else? What else? Yeah, of course. Yeah, just the Yakuza references, the very what is it, non-verbal gestures, which the non-verbal gestures gave hella Yakuza vibes for sure. Yeah, which again, that's not a bad game to reference, as obviously as a huge fan myself, but it was again another notable observation. But yeah, the kind of objective of the game is to collect It's not really objective, but of course, kind of the sub-objective, if you will. I think what everybody would like to do is to collect masters, because masters, when you improve their rank, they give you new moves in your arsenal, which is basically kind of like your custom character in Mortal Kombat Conquest, where you can customize their move set by learning moves from characters. In this, it's roughly the same, but you do have a fair amount of restrictions, which I kind of would have liked to have been opened up. But nonetheless, the restrictions are you can have a lot of moves actually, but you're restricted if a move has the same input as another character. You can only choose one of those moves. So you can't choose two, like short circle moves or Hadouken motion moves. You can only choose one. You can't choose two. Where I guess you technically can if you play with modern controls, which are much easier execution controls essentially, but the trade-off is that the easily executed moves do less damage by a percentage or whatever, which I think is actually a pretty good compromise, because I mean it is a new kind of thing to factor with execution versus efficiency, in terms of damage versus efficiency in a way, in terms of the two, which is kind of a dope concept actually, and I don't think any other fighting game is kind of implemented successfully. Also, your move sets are limited. They're like contained, dedicated move set, which depending on the character, it could be beneficial, but certain other characters, like, it's more restrictive. But again, it is a means to kind of help even the playing field, especially that also welcomes new players into fighting games that would otherwise be scared to play fighting games as well. So that's pretty dope. I like that a lot. I like it very much. I like it very much. So yeah, I wish the move sets were more flexible and you could add more like circle motion moves, because like I feel if that was the case, man, you would be way more versatile than you are otherwise, which I think probably was intentionally done, of course, but would have been cool. Would have been cool to have that. But I guess, somewhat of a compromise is that you can, well, no, I don't even think of then as long as if it's still the same input as your other, the input you have in place, you cannot have two of those, which, that technically is kind of like a slight gripe, but I can see the reasoning behind it, because, character will be too OP, especially even for the campaign itself in a way. But who knows? Maybe they might open it up a bit at some point, or maybe make an exception for some certain moves. And I think that would be a fair compromise. But maybe after, time, after the world tour has kind of run its course in a way that maybe they can do that. So, um, the story is interesting. I dig it. It's very much a, you know, all these characters replying to your avatar, but he it's weird in certain moments. You know, like, hey man, what do you think about that? And sometimes he'll just move his mouth, and I guess you're supposed to interpret him saying it or use your imagination of him saying it. And then in other cases, it's it's straight up he just looks at you dumb or just does a lot of nonverbal facial gestures, and then they just interpret it as, oh, all right, yeah, man, I agree too. And it's like, all right, dude, am I missing what he said, or what is going on here? But I digress. So you got that. I dug the element where you can look for people and pick fights with them. And if you do certain conditions within the match and they show it on their character, that if punch this person 8 times, you can get a gold nugget and stuff like that. Was pretty cool concept to kind of incentivize you to play a game a way you otherwise would not, while also educating you on how to play the game too, because there's like some cool sub quests that tell you do three fast reversals or 3 drive impacts and stuff like that, which again is secretly it feels a lot like a tutorial in a lot of ways, but I think they disguise it very well enough to not make it that apparent. But it's pretty cool, seeing cutscenes, learning from some of your favorite characters in the game, in the series, and being able to use their move set, but also like pick and choose like your critical arts and things that might you think would complement your character type more, that isn't in their standard arsenal. I think leads to a lot of cool experimentation and just interest in the mode in general. So definitely the ending was not the best. I'll say that first and foremost. It definitely felt like it left room for DLC in terms of, I assume, with this mode, like when new characters come out, or maybe after all of the season 1 characters come out, that they'll do a big like DLC episode or something like that, that'll story thing that'll be a justifiable reason to add all of the characters as your master, and then kind of do the whole kind of grind again in a way of being to a new location and stuff like that. So but yeah, I was very very content with what I played in regards to Street Fighter 6, the World Tour mode. Man, they give you a lot of customization options, which is pretty awesome. A lot of cool stuff, really. The customization was pretty dope. It was pretty awesome. One gripe I did have is that, like, proportionally, if you make your character bigger than, like, obviously the standard stereotype in terms of traditional games and stuff like that, I just felt like a lot of the clothing options did not fit very well, which I felt like that could have been done better. But I guess you can also attribute it to the proportions of your character, that relative to the costume, it just adjusts properly in that way. But I wish there was a way to make yourself look more aesthetically pleasing in regards to that. But whatevs, it is what it is. Minor gripes, not a game breaker or whatever, but I dug it. You can pick up stuff, and people want to pick fights with you, very much like Yakuza. They see you, it's on sight. They will run after you and do some cheap moves and dash and hit you in the battle. but yeah, what I would like to see in a DLC for Street Fighter 6 is like if they had like a, hey, I mean, hell, even put like the next final fight in, but then yeah, that should have just be its own thing. But I mean, if this is our best chance of getting a final fight game, I mean, especially considering all the heavy references to Final Fight, which I guess might be a way to kind of gauge interest for people, like maybe priming people for a Final Fight game, even though, you know, that technically was leaked and way back in those NVIDIA leaks, that at least now are seeming to be very accurate. So it seems apparent that that is likely in the works. So, um, but overall, yeah, very much digging World Tour. Now I'm kind of shifting gears, and I'm also trying to get the secondary costumes by maxing out your bond with each character. But I definitely plan to go back and clean some stuff up, finish some quests. There's like these legendary fighter quests where they're like have ridiculously high levels, and it's like, well, I clearly need to rank up in order to fight you. So type deal. So, but as of late, I've slowly but surely messed around, experimented with the battle hub in terms of just getting my footing and making my profile and all that stuff. And but now have been just practicing. I think yeah, after all is said and done, I still want to main Marissa. She seems to be the most interesting to me to play with. I'll probably bounce with some other characters, but as of right now, I feel like Marissa is my character to mess with and experiment and play with. But yeah, overall, thoroughly enjoying Street Fighter 6. Mind you, the World Tour mode, like I was doing everything, of course, and you know, spending some time kind of grinding to get my level up to some extent as well. But overall, it was like about 33 hours for me to complete the game, which I mean, that's literally the price of a standard game alone. So I mean, I think that's definitely what fighting games should be doing now as a standard for, you know, folks like us. Like, at least for me, like I think I'm pretty decent when it comes to fighting games, but I just have the issue where I tend to play and then just I get my ass kicked and just get very much discouraged and just hop off, depending. But I feel like at least now I won't feel as much of a loss, considering this type of mode in the game. And like I played the game for 30 hours and played this mode, and you know, you feel like, I don't know, you got some investment in it rather than like a traditional fighting game that doesn't have any mode like this. And you know, you feel like on paper you technically did not get your, you know, get your return or what have you from it. But yeah, I think this definitely set the standard for fighting games going forward. I think you'll see a lot of fighting games after this be very intent on including a single player only type mode, whether it be like a beat 'em up. Because man, boy, Tekken 8 would I love to see a beat 'em up. Tekken Force come back for Tekken 8. Goodness, that's a dream. I hope that gets announced at some point. But I digress. I'm just gushing so much. But yeah. Yeah, from what I'm just gameplay wise, fighting and Street Fighter 6 seems solid, but at least as far as World Tour is concerned, it's legit. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thoroughly had a good time. With the, yeah, the only caveat being the whatchamacallit. The only caveat being damn it. What was the caveat? Oh, the ending. Yeah, the ending was very weird and just not great. Unfulfilling, especially after all the hours you put into it, presumably. So, but yes, that was Street Fighter 6, and that concludes what I have been playing. Also, get into one quick what I've been watching, which has been Spiderman Across the Spiderverse. So, did watch this right on the premiere of it, and man, I guess potential light spoilers for Spider-Man, but I guess apparently it's been on the news and stuff and outlets and stuff, and I think I roughly kind of was aware of it, but didn't really think too much into it. Was just gonna accept it for what it was, but my biggest gripe with Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse is it is not conclusive enough for me. It just essentially the movie ends on a cliffhanger, basically. And man, it's just something about movie cliffhangers that just make me feel burned to no end. It's just the fact that you have to literally wait a whole year to pick up where you left off. That I just feel like is just very problematic when it comes, storytelling and all that stuff. Goodness gracious, man. But in terms of before that, I mean, I liked a fair amount of stuff in the movie. A lot of the references, and of course, spot the various Spider-Man and things like that. But my God, man, was it just really that ending ruined it for me in a lot of ways. Probably, but like currently, I'll give it the benefit of the doubt, because when the Beyond the Spider-Verse comes out, apparently a year from now, March, well, technically a little less, March 2024, that comes out. When it comes out, and then it hopefully gives us the payoff we are looking for, and maybe I'll feel better about it. But I don't know, just currently I don't know, it just felt very burned by the movie after all was said and done. And then it was funny, just like watching it towards the end, or towards the time it was expected, like 2 hours 30 minutes ish, and like I'm like, okay, yeah, definitely this felt like way longer. And then like I feel like, okay, we're probably wrapping it up now. I'm like, these story elements are not wrapping up, and this movie is about to end. What is going on? And then, yeah, sure enough, it's the damn cliffhanger. Like, oh my God. So, tisk. We'll see. I don't know. I just wish it was more conclusive. That's really my biggest gripe, which I think is technically a lot of other people's gripes, but for me, it just bothered me very. It detracted from the movie experience for me. Just knowing we won't, all those answers we raised, we're not gonna answer them until the next Spider-Man. I'm like, oh man. Again, which is maybe something that I won't feel as strongly about until after the whatchamacallit is done. Yeah, until we see the other part. So we'll see. Overall, yeah, that's just my sentiment for Into the Spider-Verse, and it is what it is, I guess. Is what it is. But with that being said, I think that will conclude episode 175 of Switches Sites. Man, this is a long one, and I was making up for lost time as well with missing out on our last episode. But nonetheless, hey, we are doing it, we are doing it. If you really like the show, feel free to like, rate, and subscribe. Various podcasting platforms. Catch me stream this live when my camera is working on Twitch TV/SageSwitch. Also catch archives on YouTube.com/SageSwitch. Until next time, y'all, get your damn game on. Feel free to fuck. Oh yeah.
Nobody's safe.